Yes, this one actually comes from real feedback from a director of quality that I engaged with. And here's the takeaway. Every QC manager worries about compliance and safety and making sure that their data, the company data, is kept private. And whenever you talk about AI, they worry about making sure that their private data is not compromised. So that's like a number one concern. For that particular reason, I want to point out to all the QC managers that there is a safe way to handle the data with AI technology, and there is the unsafe way. Whenever you deal with ChatGPT or any kind of online chatbots that are for public consumption, you know that if your employees put in something in the chat, everything is recorded, and the terms and conditions usually say that they are allowed, those companies are allowed to train their models on the data that you put in. So this is still the same, nothing has changed, and this is the unsafe way, I want to say. So just keep in mind, if you have an employee with sensitive data and they want to get some help with answering a question about that data or creating some kind of document, if they're using one of these public websites with AI technology and they copy and paste sensitive information in there, now the models are going to get trained potentially on your proprietary data, and you don't want that. If you have to do that kind of work, then your people need to be told to scrub the data first. Cut out or replace all the sensitive information, then ask the question through that public website. Then once you get your response, you may have to replace whatever the general placeholders are again. So usually this data transformation happens twice.
Which is, let's be honest, it's unrealistic. It's something that you can't monitor. It's a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Nobody's going to be doing it on a regular basis. And again, you lose control.
Exactly. So it's very hard to control when people do it, when they don't do it. But most of these public sites actually have it in their terms and conditions. So that's the unsafe way. The safe way is when you engage a third-party service with a chatbot that has different features. There are different chatbots, but usually if they are configured correctly, what they do is they may be engaging with the same large language models from OpenAI or OpenAI model hosted in Microsoft Azure or Google Gemini model or Anthropic Claude. But what they do is they engage with them through a separate channel on the backend, through the API, and they are under different terms and conditions than you. So when it is a business doing this as a service on the backend, then these same companies guarantee to these businesses that their data is kept private. Their requests are kept private, and they're not logging them, and they're not training their models on them. So there is a big distinction. So if you are a quality manager thinking about this, you just need to understand that in the safe way, when you're subscribing to a chatbot service or you're buying a chatbot of sorts, it is going to be safe. It is going to be no more or less safe than any normal cloud service that you pay for today. There's a lot of people using Office 365 in the cloud, and you're reading your emails that way. Or people think about Gmail. When you go to Gmail online, you're interacting with a system that's out there somewhere. So what I'm saying is, if the chatbot is a third-party service that actually doesn't use these public websites directly, but goes through the backend channel, then your data is kept private. It's important to understand. So whenever you talk to service providers with the chatbots, just make sure that it's that way and they're not just giving you access to the ChatGPT website, which normally they wouldn't. But so this is not a concern. It's no more or less safe than you using your Office 365 or Gmail in the cloud, all right? I want to make sure with my call to action here, it's that you as quality managers go out there and educate the others that you've been using probably in every company to some extent services in the cloud already. And properly configured AI chatbots are no different. Educate the people, spread the word.